Hi, so this is part 3 of my two-trailer build. Um, what I have accomplished so far is I built a couple of items to go inside the trailer. Like I mentioned in my first video, I'm real big on keeping my tool in tool cases, so the concept I came up with was actually building just a trunk. So I built this trunk out of OSB. It's nothing fancy. Took one sheet of OSB to build the whole trunk. And just some basic, hinges on it, nothing fancy. $3 at Home Depot, $7 in a sheet of plywood, some silicone, some liquid nail, and you have a trunk. So inside you can see that I have all my tools that are in cases. Not all my tools, but I've put in here so far. As you can see, it's pretty much filled already, but it's not the most useful way to use space. But for someone who likes to keep their tools in their cases, which I personally like to do it that way because, all my little bits that go with things, for instance, my Sawzall bits are in the case. My nail guns, it's nails in the cases for them. Just all the little things that have things inside of them. I have a couple of tool bags in here that I can pull out and wheel in or get things out of with pretty easy access. And still have some space on top for a few other things. The good thing about the way it's set up now, if I need to pull a couple of things out to move some things, it's pretty relatively easy. But you can see that took up a lot of space pretty quickly. So I got that accomplished, and I don't know how well you can see it, but I just used this OSB for all the cabinetry, and I just put a nice router edge on everything. Came out nice and smooth. OSB is the most affordable way to do this. I mean, plywood is so expensive these days, and really for this project, I mean, OSB is plenty good enough. I mean, you take a nice little router and just route off the edges, and it really makes a fairly good difference on the appearance. So this is a top shelf that I built. And in my early videos, I told you that my situation with my garage, I had to put my ladders inside. So you can see I built this cabinet out of OSB. And I put a little ledge on top so I can slide my ladders on and off. And what I did is I just drilled some holes through here, and I should be able to, just wrap one bungee cord around to hold it down. It doesn't take much. It's pretty much up there by gravity. But the way I built these cabinets is just out of OSB. What I did is just took these parts here and kind of made 4 identical pieces. Using my jigsaw and other saws, and kind of just, I don't know, came up with this out of my head. So it came out pretty good considering that this is just out of my head. And what I just use is like a cleat system. Where as you can see, it just some furring strips. I cut it at a 45, and then cut these pieces at a 45. And kind of slid right in. And then once I got it slid in, I put another cleat here at the bottom and glued that to the wall, and then came in and tacked it with some brads and glue. For the most part, this thing is in with just glue. The only screws I have, as you can see, I have some screws that go into the side of the trailer, and I did put some that run into the main frame of the trailer. But those are the only screws I use. I'm not carrying tools that's so heavy that I really need to do anything more than that. Liquid nail combined with this OSB, it grabs it pretty good, and I found in the past that good liquid nail, and if you do it right and everything is nice and square, that it creates a pretty rigid frame. I'll probably come back and countersink a few screws just to be safe in a few spots, but not very many. Really, the liquid nail is pretty tough, and I also put these series of holes all the way through, as you can see. And what I'll do is I have some different long drill bits and things that I carry that I can kind of slide through there, and that'll kind of hold that. So again, this whole shelf took 1 sheet of plywood, cost me $6 plus some liquid nail and a few brads. I think it came out pretty good, to be honest. I don't know how well it looks on the video, but in person it's actually not bad looking at all. And again, I have plenty of storage where I can just kind of pile up just general things, nice and deep, and you can put quite a bit in here. So it gives me 3 compartments. over here, I just hung my miter saw. This is really a difficult tool to find a spot for because it's so big and it's on a set of brackets that mounted to my to the stand. So it's kind of an awkward tool to kind of store. So I just got some hooks that I got from Harbor Freight and just kind of hung it up there, and I think it'll be fine. I'll probably put one bungee cord on it just to stop it from kind of swinging around, because it's pretty heavy saw, and if it's swinging, then you know it's more likely it's going to do some damage and break something. So I'll bungee cord it down with some hooks. So and then this is where I decided to put my Home Depot cabinet that we talked about, just right here in the side. I think it works out pretty good there. I'm going to put some more storage over top here. Not quite sure what I'm going to put there yet. And my table saw will just go here on the end. Again, I got some anchors that I got from Harbor Freight.